Hey guys, welcome to a chill Q&A session with your host, with the most, Rockstar Tragedy. First, I wanted to thank all of the submissions for the questions. You guys have been super awesome, and I've been kind of like, retweeting this tweet over the past week or so, trying to get some of your guys' input on what you might like to ask me if you had questions. It's been a long time since I've done one, and this is just like a little treat for reaching 300 subscribers on the channel, so thank you guys so much for doing that. I really have no idea what it is that I'm doing that you guys like, but I do appreciate it so much. You guys have been awesome with your support. The amount of comments, the amount of likes, the amount of interactions on the video, the amount of shares have been just super out of control in a positive way. Like, I've just been absolutely flabbergasted with the amount of love that you guys have poured over my way, and I am so appreciative. But you're not here to hear me babble on about that stuff, but I appreciate it. I'll ease on it a bit, and we're just gonna get right to the questions, okay? So I asked you guys on Twitter to send me questions one of two ways, either through the Rockstar Q&A hashtag or a site called Curious Cat, which was recommended to me. And thank you so much for your suggestions, Sav. And we're just going to jump right into it. So from what I'm seeing here, we have a lot more questions on the anonymous side. And the reason I allowed anonymous, and I know it's kind of a sketchy road, is right, you have the possibility of people asking you some really weird questions, but you also have people being more comfortable asking you questions. Maybe they have questions they want to ask without their identity being known, and that was something I was totally fine with and willing to take the risk for, because I can always just skip over the questions that don't really make sense. But honestly, you guys have been super cool about this. I don't see any questions here that are like too out of control. There's a couple silly ones here, but I don't see any reason that I have to like skip over any of these. So we're gonna knock these out in no particular order. I think what I'm going to do is those who did decide to do the hashtag, I'm gonna just read these off first here. Okay, John, so I saw your question about my address, and that's not gonna happen on the video. When you guys, I know you guys are visiting me, and I'm super excited about that, but I'm not gonna put that out on the internet. So Michelle asks, any games I'm looking forward to this year? Quite honestly, I'm just gonna switch scenes here. I pulled up a little list of stuff that is coming out, and I've heard of some games coming out. Friday the 13th, the game is coming out. A lot of people have been asking. I think it's actually a question I will address in a little bit, so I don't want to say anything much further on that. Splatoon 2, I'm interested to see what that brings. I don't know if it's just a remake of the original game like a lot of people are saying, or if there's any real good solid new elements to it. So we'll see. Destiny 2 is a game that I've always been curious about. I've seen a lot of people playing Destiny. I haven't played it myself, but I've been interested by the storyline, so I might check that one out. And the huge news recently, of course, if you guys have been keeping up with the news, Blizzard is actually going to allow people to play that as part of their Battle.net platform, so that should be interesting. I would look forward to seeing exactly what that brings to us. A couple other games will be Horizon Zero Dawn, Outlast 2, and Yooka-Laylee, which I do have, but I'm actually in the process of trying to purchase one of the original Banjo-Kazooie games, because as someone had informed me, it's not really worth playing through Yooka-Laylee until you've at least played through the first Banjo-Kazooie, from what they said. So I'm going to take their advice for that, and I'm trying to do that, so hopefully I can get through that soon. I haven't decided whether A, I'm going to just play that on my own outside of any kind of streaming or YouTube, or B, put it on stream, C, YouTube. Don't see both happening, but I'm debating on that. Because the game is so old, I don't really throw that kind of content on the channel. I mean, there are some games that I keep going back to, but I am trying to keep it somewhat fresh, somewhat move forward. But I guess a retro thing wouldn't be a terrible thing, maybe for a stream especially. I think that's probably more where that kind of thing belongs, but we'll see. Obviously there are very differing opinions on that. I know some friends of mine who have put that kind of stuff on their channel, and that's fine. It's just a differing opinion, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Verja asks, where do you see yourself in a year? Do you hope to make it big on YouTube or pursue a different passion? Well, Honestly, I love what I'm doing right now. I love being able to do my own content. I love editing for Bob. I love the whole environment. I love getting to travel the country and seeing you guys. PAX East was one of those huge eye-openers for me this year, where I got to meet a lot of you guys and say hi, took pictures. I met some new people in the group. I strengthened friendships. Just like all that kind of stuff is super awesome. And like the everlasting effects after that, like there's a lot of friends I have made since PAX East, and like we're a lot closer than we were before. So like those friendships are strengthening, and it's awesome to see, because there's a lot of people I wanted to get a chance to meet, and there's so many more that I still do. So I'm hoping to keep pressing forward in this manner. This is my passion. This is what I love doing right now, creating content. Although if that completely fell through, I think I would actually want to get into music study. That has been something that's been with me since I can even remember, since I was young. Even before school, I just had a knack for music. And then when I got into like elementary school, middle school, high school, I played music all 12 years. I started off on the violin. I tried to play trumpet, but for some reason I could not get air to come out of the mouthpiece. But they put me on a clarinet. Somehow that was easier. I don't know. And for at least 10 years I played the clarinet, and I became really good at it. It's kind of unfortunate that I stopped. I wish I would have kept playing, been able to like strengthen my knowledge, been able to do more with it. At one point I was on first chair. It was exciting being able to do something that I loved in that category also. And music's not out of the question now also. It's just really hard to find the time for it. I watched a video that Mark posted recently about like prioritizing hobbies, and like which ones can you turn into things that like benefit more than just impressing your friends. And that's kind of where I am with that right now. I would love to do music, but at this point it's not really doing anything more than just like, oh, look what I can do. Whereas the content creation and everything else I'm doing with that, and meeting people, hanging out with people, and just overall spreading love, spreading joy, that's to me what is important right now. And I think more now than ever we need that. Gail asked, what's my favorite video game? And that's such a tough question, because there's so many video games that I like. Being a content creator, you're constantly surrounding yourself with video games, and it's hard to pick just one. But if we're going to talk about recent era video games, I do like Overwatch. I play that quite a lot, as a lot of you that play that with me may know. But I do enjoy the game. It's great. There's a lot of good characters. The backstory, everything really about the game is just awesome, and it's constantly evolving. We're constantly revealing a little bit more about each character, and then the updates that they put into the game are just enough to like, it keeps your interest level going, and it keeps you playing, and it keeps you on your toes. Really, you're trying to get better at the game, and that's what I've been striving to do. I haven't quite played comp yet. Some people have asked about that also, but I do think once season 5 rolls around, I'm coming for you. Other than that, I enjoy a plethora of other games. There's tons of games that I like. I'm really into sports games, hockey specifically. I love hockey, so I play that. I know there are some people that do not like that. That's of no issue to me though. I'm gonna play what I like. Indie games are huge. I always try to keep up on the indie scene, and a lot of those games that you are seeing on my channel now are games that are relatively new, or games that have been rolling in my way, and so I've been trying to put that content out there for you guys. Another favorite, very recent favorite, is PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. I love the concept of a Hunger's game map where it like forces you to a specific region after a certain amount of time and requires a lot of skill. It's super fun. If you haven't tried it out and that's your kind of game, I would suggest it, because if not, you're missing out. Ms. Shasta asks, would I take an all expenses paid trip to the moon? No, I don't think I would. As much as I would love to see space, maybe I would take an all expense paid trip just to get to space and come back down, but to actually travel outside of Earth's atmosphere completely and start gravitating towards a different object, like such as the moon or something different, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know if my body would handle that, nor do I know if I'd be actually stable enough mentally to do that, because you have to be very, very well in order to make that kind of trip, and I'm not sure that I'm there. And it's a very select few who would be, but I think I would absolutely love to see space, just to be able to like go up far enough to see Earth from space and not just as we are here. But I think the moon's a little much. So I'm going to switch over to the Curious Cat side of things now. So these are all anonymous questions, so I'm not going to keep saying anonymous asked. I'm just going to read each question as I go here. So let's go. First one asks, have I ever thought of having a partner to work with? Now, I'm curious into what capacity this means, because there are different levels of partnerships with these types of things, and I actually do already work with somebody on my channel, not so much on the content production side, but you guys have probably seen me shout out Sammy quite a few times. I'm going to put her Twitter thing right here-ish. And you guys should check her out. She's a very talented artist. She's currently working on pretty much all of the thumbnails that I do. I used to do those myself, but honestly, A, time has become such an issue, and B, obviously that's not my strong point. So she's been helping me out with those. So go check her out. Maybe contact her, maybe commission her for something, because you won't regret it. She's done all of my channel stuff, my YouTube remake, my Twitter remake, all of that stuff has been completely redone in her style, and I absolutely love it. Someone asked, am I thinking about coming to Puerto Rico one day? I haven't thought about it, I'll be very honest with you. I'm not trying to find the right word here because need seems to be strong, but I haven't had the desire to go there as of yet, and it's not for any specific reason. I just haven't had anything draw me there, so maybe I would consider it. It's not on a list of places I wouldn't go, so we'll stick with that. I honestly don't have a better answer at this time. I got another question to ask. How do I feel about the direction of YouTube and how it's going in general with all the new policies and such? Well, it's one of those unfortunate lapses that happens. I don't feel like it's as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. Now, I understand there's revenue loss and things that are horribly going wrong with that, but what I meant is I don't think it's an issue that's going to remain the same. I feel like this type of issue will get fixed. It seems to be more of an issue in the system, in how things are coded. I don't understand exactly why such a drop would happen when this is the biggest platform and one of the biggest revenue generating sites across the entire internet. So it's hard to believe that they would intentionally screw over everybody for that type of, you know, loss. There's nothing, nobody's benefiting out of that. So why would they do that? In several sources, PewDiePie himself has mentioned on several occasions that he's talked to YouTube and said that this issue is something that will be resolved. I don't know when, there was no date quoted, but it will hopefully be fixed soon. Fortunately and unfortunately for my channel at this time, I'm not in a position where I actually make revenue off of YouTube. I'm purely doing this out of hobby at the moment. I'm very lucky to be afforded that opportunity to do that, but I'm in a position right now where the channel isn't benefiting me that way. So honestly, I'm hoping this is something that gets resolved should my channel take off, but at the moment it is an unfortunate circumstance, but I think it's one of those things where we just have to like push through it, move forward, and see what happens. Someone asked, what are some of my favorite movies? Well, in terms of movies, I love action movies. I love movies with like authority versus criminal type things. Movies about the mob, the mafia, just like all of that kind of stuff are my big things. So Al Pacino is my favorite actor. A lot of the movies he's ever been involved in have been some of my favorites just because I absolutely adore his work. I love his acting. I love his charisma. I love the passion he puts in everything that he does. And I even have the book on how he got started, basically his autobiography on everything. Absolutely fantastic story. I can't say enough good things about the man, and just I admire his work. There are other movies, of course, that I like too. I love comedy movies. Early game Will Ferrell stuff used to be a lot of my favorite movies. I mean, some of his stuff now is also funny. I feel like, I don't know if it's him losing a step or some of the roles he's been put in maybe not utilizing his talent to the best that they could have. It could be something like that, I don't know. But I'm still a fan of the man. He's super funny. And there's a lot. I could go on and on. Jim Carrey, Chris Farley, David Spade. There's many. There's a lot of people Another person asks, why are you so sexy? Don't really have an answer for that. I don't know if this is a joke. If you're trying to troll me, I don't see Ashton Kutcher anywhere, so that's a sign maybe it's a real question. I don't know. But this kind of stuff, like, it's your opinion, obviously. I've always been a person who, like, wasn't super conceited about my looks, and, like, I have no reason to be. You know, everyone is beautiful in their own way. If someone happens to think that I'm attractive, that's totally fine. There's, you know, that's human nature. What are you gonna do about it? But I appreciate the compliment. Let's not be weirder about it. The next question asks, how do I maintain such glorious facial hair? It's easy. You just don't shave. It comes in. Also could be a troll question. I don't know. I don't know why I'm even so skeptical. I guess because of the anonymity. Did I say that right? Probably not. I don't know. How do you even answer that question? It just grows. Leave it there. That's it. Another person asks, why don't you make a workout with Tom series? I would actually be interested in doing that, but I don't know who would watch that. I wouldn't really know how to produce that because I would be using a program that's not in all mine. Like, I own no rights to it whatsoever other than the license because I purchased it. But I do the Insanity Max 30 program, and it's like, I don't know how that would work. And if I did do something like that, I don't think it would belong on my gaming channel. I think that would be a different channel altogether. But honestly, that series would only go on for probably a few weeks because there's only so many workouts to those discs, and I wouldn't be posting the same one twice. So you do like one workout several times per week. So it'd be total like 3 or 4 workouts, I think, for 1 week, and then it would stay the same for that whole month. So after, like, I don't know, we'll give it the full 10. So maybe 10 episodes. After that, there's not much else to go on. I guess I could do other workouts also, but there would have to be an interest in that. I have honestly not heard anyone do that, and quite honestly, do people really want to watch me sweat? Gross. Gross. Yuck! Someone asked, how do I keep up with posting videos, live streams, work for Bob, working out, and everything else that you do? You gotta schedule things. I wake up every day with a mindset of this is what has to happen. I'm gonna wake up and then I'm gonna eat, and then there's a transition period because I do try to work out every weekday and also on Saturdays. So basically I try to wait 2 hours after I eat my first meal of the day, and during that time, using that to edit, record, render, whatever I have to do during that time to get videos ready for the day for both myself and for Bob. And it's not easy. There's a lot of time spent on this computer because that's a lot of what I do. There's also a lot of real life stuff I have to deal with also, so it's not easy. I just keep things consistent, I keep things on a schedule, and I keep it in a routine. I can't stress that enough. It's very important to get yourselves in a routine if you want something like this to even begin to work out. Everything has to be a routine. If you don't like that word, you're not going to succeed. And it's harsh for me to say that, but it's the honest truth, because you have to keep things consistent, and the only way you can be consistent is if you get them on a routine. That's the best advice I can possibly give, and it's tiring sometimes. I will be honest, it's very tiring. There's a lot involved, but when you love something so much, when you love it, you want to put everything, every part of your being into it, as I do with this, you will make that effort, you will make that sacrifice. But that's not to say I don't take care of myself, that's not to say I don't do this, do that. All of that's happening in the background. That's stuff you guys don't see, so you just got to keep at it. Another question asked if I'm excited for The Last of Us 2. I absolutely am. I honestly cannot wait for that game. I had so much fun with the original game, and I still have DLC that at some point I'm going to put up on the channel, but I absolutely cannot wait for that to come out. I'm glad that I was able to get fully through the first game, because I wanted to be able to jump right into that as soon as it comes out. That is one game I am super looking forward to. I can't wait. Another question asked, do you know about the bird? I do. Did you know that the bird is the word? Another question asked, this is not a question but a statement. You're one of my favorite creators and I love all of your content. Thank you for all the laughs. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much for that very generous comment. I struggle sometimes with whether or not I think something that I'm producing is funny or inspiring or just generally entertaining to you guys. And so seeing something like this, I very much appreciate that because it keeps me pumped up. It keeps me inspired, keeps me wanting to deliver stuff for you guys on a daily basis almost. So yeah, I really appreciate that. And this site here had the ability to confess things, but I took that feature off just because I didn't want that to get too weird. And also, we are trying to like just get questions out of this, but I don't mind seeing that. Thank you very much for your generous comment. Another question asks if I'm ever going to get another cat because 27 just isn't enough. I have 2. Thanks. I have 2. I think this is Cyrilla Cat, but I'm not sure. I could be wrong. But I remember him making a comment like this. So if I'm calling you out right now, Cyrilla Cat, I only have 2, man. I have 2. But I would absolutely take in another one. I would. I love cats. Sometimes, you know, just like any pet, they can be a pain in the ass. And they could like knock everything over and wake you up at 5 in the morning when you're trying to get a good night's rest. But they're pets. They're pets. And for me, it's better than having an animal that just pees all over the place all the time. Then you end up having to like consistently wash your bedding or whatnot. My cats are very well behaved in that aspect. They are kind of crazy and they play and they run around and knock stuff over. But the one thing I can say about them is they do not chew wires, they do not claw furniture too often, and they do not generally destroy things. These two, I've had technology laying everywhere and they've had every chance to break everything. They've been very good. Next question asks, what game have I been wanting to play but haven't had time to play it? That answer is Yooka-Laylee, and the only reason I haven't really had time is because I haven't yet acquired the ability to play Banjo-Kazooie, which is the game that I wanted to play before playing Yooka-Laylee, just so I understand some of like the nostalgia, the throwbacks, the references, all of that stuff. So that will be something I do want to play soon. I think I'm going to stream that game, but I do have to find that other one first. Another question asks, if chocolate chip cookies no longer existed, what would be your next go-to treat? Man, that would be such a devastating loss, first of all. Chocolate chip cookies just like cease to exist. I'd be very sad man. But I think an easy go-to thing after that would be like brownies, or I also like Rice Krispie treats. Some simple stuff like that. So it's not the end of the world. It would be devastating, but you know, I think I'd make it. Another question asks, are you too sexy for your shirt? Too sexy for your shirt? So sexy it hurts. No, I'm not. That's why I'm in clothing right now. That's why. Another question asks, have you heard about the Muffin Man? Muffin Man, the Muffin Man. Do you know the Muffin Man? His fleece is white as snow. Okay, I got them mixed up. Whatever, who cares? Next question asks, how does it feel to do something you love for your job? I absolutely love it. As you said, as you asked, it feels great. I have spent many a year doing something that I did not like. Customer service type related jobs. I used to take phone calls for a cable company, which I don't know if it's like a bad thing to name drop, but I used to work for Comcast. Who cares? They're not paying me to say or not say things. So yeah, that was miserable. I regretted that job almost every single day that I woke up, and when you're in that position, it's tough because you need money, obviously, but it's also unhealthy to drive yourself insane doing a job that you just can't stand. I always said if it was comfortable enough to take a couple dollars less, or take $1 less, or even like 50 cents less an hour, to switch it up to something you'd much rather do and probably enjoy a hell of a lot more, you're gonna be like 100% more likely to keep that job. So do yourself a favor, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health. It's very important. So if it's a job that you don't like, find a solution. Don't just quit it. Obviously you have to be safe about it, but do something that will benefit you in the long run, because time is short. No reason to do something that you don't like. I've had several other jobs also. I used to work for Ancestry, another garbage job. I'm just gonna come right out and say it. The uppers didn't care, management didn't care, as most of those corporate jobs are. You're a body, you're replaceable, and it shows. And it's sad because you can work really hard, and it often doesn't show. There are opportunities that can happen, but I worked consistent in those companies for years and was always told, oh, you know, promotions right here, promotions right here, and then, you know, behind the back deals happen, and it's like, it's more about who you know in those types of fields rather than your skill. So you can be the best and not get anywhere. So yes, I absolutely love doing what I do now. I love making my own content. I love working for Bob. I love being his partner for his channel. I love all that stuff. It's really fun, and I'm hoping it just continues to grow. It's something I'm super passionate about, and we'll see where the future takes us. It's super exciting, and overall great. Last question I have here asks if I'm going to play Friday the 13th when it comes out. Most likely. I usually try most new games when they come out. New scary games that come out always sound appealing to me. That's something I want to bring back to my channel also. Either, well, I guess both via streaming and the YouTube channel. I would like to get more scary content on there. I used to do a segment on my stream a few years back called Scary Saturdays, and while I'm not set on bringing that exactly back, I might bring something similar to that back just so we can get some of that content back to the channel, because I know you guys love that stuff. You loved it back then, and I was always getting good recommendations, so I might bring that back, and we'll see where it goes from there. That's all the questions I have. I want to thank you guys so much for answering this. I have no idea how long this video is going right now. The recording seems to be just over 30 minutes, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of kind of narrowing it down, trying to cut out a lot of the extra junk on the actual video that does come out. So thank you guys for your submissions. Thank you all who've been putting up with me retweeting that for the past week or so. But this is the end product of that, and if you did like this, maybe I'll do more of these in the future. I would love to continue to get to know you guys and also help you guys continue to get to know me as well. So this has been a fun experience. Thanks to those who participated, and thank you guys again so much for helping this channel reach 300 subscribers. And I can't even believe at the moment of making this video, in just a few days, I think we've already gained another 50 subscribers. It's blowing my mind that so many new people are coming to this channel, and I've just been getting so much positivity. You guys have been absolutely amazing. I can't stress it enough. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do, and I hope we can continue to do things like this. It doesn't always have to be Q&A, but maybe just like a talk. Maybe we can do that a little more often, as I feel like I'm progressing, and hopefully I'm starting to get a little more comfortable behind the camera, behind the microphone, what have you. That's going to be it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you did like this, leave a like and a comment down below, and if you're new, please subscribe. My name's Rockstar Tragedy. All of you all rock on. See you later.